and one more thing what we have seen in the class is a sample code, how the Java file looks like. So this is a sample code. So in Java everything is written inside a class. So first of all you have to create a class with a keyword class. So I am creating one class here. So this is the proper syntax, that class, my class name. So here I am using the class name as sample class, and the naming convention is there for naming the class. So if you are using a single word, the first letter of that word should be in capital letter. Suppose we are using more than one word, the first letter of each word should be in capital letter with no space between the words. So this is the naming convention for the class name. So here I am creating one class sample class, and inside that normally theoretically we explain something about the class and objects. So an object must contain some set of state or some set of properties and some set of behaviors or methods. So and the class is a blueprint of those objects. So once we are having a blueprint, using that blueprint we can create n number of objects. So here to explain the concept of class, I am not going to in depth with that state and behavior, but I am going to create only one method called main method inside this class sample class. Okay, so here this is the strict syntax to follow to write the main method, that is public static void main within the bracket string arguments. Okay, array of type string. So inside that method I am trying to print one sentence, that hello world. So for printing something in Java programming, this is the syntax system.out.println. okay, again the system is some class in Java. Okay, so Java is a collection of numerous classes. So one such class we are using here is system. It is inside. So here itself some hints are there. Okay, so Java, and then there is a class lang, and inside that lang we are having a class system. Okay, so this is the common basic syntax about defining a class. So class name, within the curly braces I am creating one method called main method. The syntax is public static void main string array. Okay, and why we are putting public and why we are putting static void main, these are the things we will see now. So I am creating one Java file here. So once created, I will compile this Java file. It will create another file with the extension .class, that we call it as class file, or we call it as bytecode. Okay, so that bytecode will be executed by the Java virtual machine. So before that I am trying to compile this source file. My compiler, which is operated by my operating system, search for a keyword called main from the outside of our Java environment. So one entity that the compiler or the operating system is trying to access something inside our Java environment. So this must be in a mode of public, then only we can access the things from the outside world. Outside world means outside of the Java environment. So there are 4 types of access specifiers are there. One is private, next one is public, then one is protected and default. So now as of now I will explain only about public. So if we are giving public as access specifier, that particular method can be accessed from the outside of the particular Java environment. So the compiler or the operating system is trying to access the method main from the outside of the Java environment. So that is why we are putting the keyword public here, which give access to the operating system to access the main method from outside of Java environment. Then the next keyword is static. I will explain in detail about the static. As of now, the static means if you are normally I am creating one class, inside that class I am having some set of data members, that is our state of the objects, our properties of the objects. So that we call it as data members in terms of programming, and I am having set of member functions or methods, that is the behavior. So I am creating one class with some set of data members and member functions. Once I am having this template, this blueprint, I am going to create I can create n number of objects for this particular class. So once I am having one object for this particular class, I can access the data members and member functions using that object. So using that object only I can access the data members and member functions. This is a normal scenario. If I want to access some data member or member function without creating an object for any particular class, then that particular data member or member function must be defined as a static. So if I am putting static keyword before a data member, that means for your language we call it as variables. If I am putting the keyword static before a variable or before a method, that variable or method can be accessed directly without creating object for that particular class. So during compiling, while compiling, the compiler trying to access the main method before creating any object for this particular class, sample class. So that is why I am putting the keyword static here. Then I can directly access the main method without creating object for this particular class. Then void, we all already know that the return type, the main method will not return anything, that's why I put void here. And the string type, list of arrays, some arrays of type string, which is used to collect the command line arguments, that we can pass some arguments while execution. All the arguments will be considered as a string. So please remember that public static void main string arguments array. Okay, this should be strictly to be followed like this only. And inside main method I am having some print statement. In Java the print statements look like this: system.out.println. I am trying to print hello world. So once this is over, I will compile this code. So how to compile? To compile a Java file, this is the things to follow. That is javac file name .java. This is how we will compile the Java file, our source file. Okay, so once compiling it, I will get my class file in the folder where I am having my source file. So then I can execute the file, that is class file I can execute. For that we need to type java space file name. So actually I am going to execute the class file. So for our we don't want to do any mistakes, that's why this is the general syntax followed, that our class name should be the file name. The class which contains the main method, we store our file in the same name. I repeat that, the class which contains the main method, that name will be used to save my file, my Java file. So here we am having only one class called sample class where I am having my main method. That's why I store the file as sample class.java. So I compiled using javac, and to run I write Java space file name. Actually it is the name of the class file. Okay, so here I am getting my output.